Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to some more DPL action right here for Beyond the Summit. My name is Dragon Drop, taking over for Breaky as it's pretty early for him at this point. It's not even late, it's early, so he's going to bed now, I believe. And I'm taking over for the last remaining two series for today. We've got EHOME.Keen versus VP.G Gaming Potential in the best of two. After that, we've got Newbie taking on FTDC. But for now, let's stick to this series here. Should be pretty interesting one. EHOME.Keen, I believe they're sitting at 5 and 7 right now. Got a couple more games than VG Gaming Potential. They're sitting at 3 and 5. So interesting to see which of these teams can actually get themselves some extra points on the board. As I said, my name is Dragon. Happy to bring this series, and I'm also happy to be joined by a fellow German and as Chinese Dota enthusiasts, you could say. It is Skim Gaming. How are you doing?
Hey man, thanks for having me. I'm looking forward to this match a lot because Chinese Dota is really exciting right now. I mean, look at the bans. You have Abaddon and Magnus, first bans. I mean, granted, obviously we are in a new patch, so it's also a new patch, but just China in general has that weird meta lately where they just favor these heroes. Like Magnus has been a huge hero throughout
Yeah.
the Kiev Major Qualifier, and now it is first ban, first pick kind of hero for them. So
Yeah, they're not
I
afraid at all to try things out and just
yeah.
bring new things into the meta, especially here in these league plays where it gets so many games, so many high-level games as well. It's a great nurturing ground for these kind of strats, and that's also one of the reasons I believe why we see Monkey King picked up so much instead of just being banned, because these teams are eager to just try and find ways to make use of him. Seen it in every single game that I've watched today, even. So yeah, looking forward to that. We also see Venomancer being played mid a lot now. I don't know
Yeah.
if that's how long that's been going on.
And the interesting about the Chinese scene is, and I think why they are so eager to play these different drafts in matches is because they actually play a lot of random draft in their pub games. I think random draft is actually the preferred mode right now for most pro players in their pub games. So any of the if you look at any of the pro players that have their profiles publicly enabled, for example, on Dota, say Wings Gaming, for example, you'll see lots, basically only random draft in their pub games. That's how they play. That's what they play in their free time. They want to experiment. They play these weird pools that force you to skew the perspective of how you approach Dota and what you want to do, and it allows them to learn these heroes that you otherwise wouldn't see in games. So I think especially the Venomancer for me is one of these picks where I think to myself, this is probably something that somebody started picking up in random draft, and everybody realized, hey, this is actually pretty. This actually works.
Yeah, especially with talents. Venomancer has some ridiculous talents. I believe it's like plus 30% XP gain at level 10. Then you can follow it up with 200 health and some other stuff. I'm not sure, but then level 20 talent is plus 75 damage. So that's one of these points where people realize, hey, we can actually run him as a carry because he hits quite hard and he gets the levels really, really fast, especially when you go Midas and stuff like that. So yeah, all you need then is some good frontliners, because obviously if he gets caught out, there's not a whole lot that he can do to just extricate himself out of that.
Yeah, didn't maybe even go for this really weird build for like Dragonlance Maelstrom
Yeah,
on
yeah,
Venomancer
that's
as
that's that's the way you would go. Wouldn't it
uh,
be? I mean, Dragonlance for some extra range, into the Hurricane Pike as well for to have a little bit of mobility, then a Maelstrom just for extra damage and attack speed. It does make a lot of sense if you really think about it. It's much like a silencer would be that right-click carry. You go for a similar kind of item builds.
honestly, I'm just waiting for any hero that is ranged to pick up Dragonlance because it's so good.
Yeah. Hey, maybe you see CM pick it up today, but I would say Monkey King, but technically he's still a melee hero. But I wouldn't be too surprised to
Nah,
see
he's pushing the boundaries. He's
Dragonlance
pushing the boundaries.
still working for him. Just kind of tape it to the bamboo tree or whatever he has in his hand. To his stick. Get some extra range. But yeah. But yeah, CM, Crystal Maiden, also one of these heroes. That's especially prevalent in the Chinese scene.
Oh yeah, Crystal Maiden was also huge during the Kiev Major. I think she currently has a 70% win rate in DPL, something along those lines. At least when I checked like 2 days ago, she had like a ridiculous win rate, despite being picked, I think, in most of the games as well. So Crystal Maiden definitely not to be underestimated. I think she's really strong. I mean, the aura is really good with
Yep.
pretty much all the meta heroes right now. Imagine like a Centaur, Slaughter, whatever you want to have in the offlane. These greedy 4-position supports that aren't traditionally played as a support. If you give them the additional aura from the from Crystal Maiden, that just makes them so much more sufficient.
Yeah. Titan Demon is also one of these heroes that can spam so many more anchor smashes because of it. Even Juggernauts, who can have some mana issues early on, will usually buy like the Basilius and Ring of Aquila to combat that. Crystal Maiden just gives you so much more aggressive potential in the lanes, just with that aura. And that's not even mentioning the rest of the spells. Frostbite is really good farming utility early on, so you can get your levels for free, essentially. Crystal Nova, Nestle Nuke and Slow, and the ultimate as well. If you can get that off, I feel like it's the most underrated spell from Crystal Maiden for a lot of people still. Because
Dragons
if you
is
can channel it, if
ridiculous
you
as
don't
well.
interrupt that, you're just gonna lose the team fight. Period.
And they already have a really good combination of big AoE ultimates.
Yeah.
If you land the Ravage and a Monkey King ultimate, I'm not sure if you're gonna pay much attention to the Crystal Maiden during that.
Yeah.
So
Uh,
I'm curious. I'm really interested in actually this VG Gaming potential draft. I think they have potential for an even bigger team fight. I mean, they probably looking for the mid laner. I guess the Juggernaut is going to be safe lane with the Crystal Maiden. I think that's there's a lot of synergy there. So I'm looking at a mid laner here, but looks pretty interesting so far.
with the Stonesword picked up now as well, one of these old classic lifestealer combos. I mean, props to EHOME.Keen though. I mean, looking at this, looking at these drafts, they do have a lot of ways to go into the fight first, burst the hero down, be it the Monkey King to prevent his ultimate, or just kill him when it just started to just nip it in the bud. Same for Crystal Maiden. You have some good ways of getting right on top of her. Between the Centaur, Stampede, Sand King has a Burst Strike to get close, and of course the Stone Split mobility. So it's going to come down to how these fights actually play out. But yeah, they're looking for another support now, which is a bit interesting
Probably,
as
yeah.
well to see a support being the last pick.
That's actually what was it? I think it EG? Was it? I think EG also sometimes used to draft their support late. It just happens sometimes
Yeah.
when you're drafting and you like to keep the hero that you play yourself last, just because especially as a support. I think there's also more variety in a lot of cases, and cores are usually the ones that you first pick first. You want that Centaur, you want that Magnus, whatever.
Yeah.
So usually fill up the core rolls pretty early. EHOME.Keen with a really, I wouldn't call it an easy draft, but a draft that everybody's more familiar with. It's very traditional in that sense, with the Lifestealer Infest combination. With he has like 3 Infest combos that he could run with the Sand King, Centaur, and the Storm. Like I said, they have really easy ways of initiating with 2 Blink Dagger carriers and then the Storm Spirit, obviously. I will say though that in those big team fights, it's gonna be scary. They don't really have, I don't think, good ways of interrupting all of them unless the disruptor hits a really crucial static storm.
Yeah.
And
It's definitely a very straightforward draft in
yeah,
terms of like what it does. You see these heroes and you know exactly how they're going to play and how they want these fights to be going. Whereas VG Gaming Potential, they feel like they have a lot more riding on them in terms of execution, right? Especially the Monkey King. Of course, he's still being figured out, but a lot of teams like to run him in this 4 position, just in the early game, especially trying to make things happen, but just jumping across trees and giving vision and all of these obnoxious things that he does. And especially just it can be challenging to find the right place in a team fight in the mid game to not be bursted down, still maybe get your ultimate off still. I don't know. It's very interesting here in that regard, and the barrier of execution, I should say, or maybe I think a better way to put it would be the bare, like the room for error is a lot
yeah,
smaller for him.
I
I think that's the
I
best way to
agree.
say it.
I agree. All right, maybe I'm overreacting to this, but to me the Shadow Fiend pick is so good right now. If I look at this lineup, I think to myself, if he hits a Ravage and then there's like a Monkey King ultimate wreaking havoc, that's like the dream for any Shadow Fiend, isn't it?
Yep.
I will say that they basically don't have any defensive capabilities on VG Gaming Potential. meaning that if somebody does get jumped on, they will probably have to pop like a Ravage to save him.
Oh yeah.
Sure, you have the Boundless Strike, which is a good AoE sort of stun or mini stun, I guess, but
Oh, it
it's
is a
not like a
stun.
really good save. Yeah,
It will
well,
turn
yeah,
into a stun
yeah,
very quickly. 0.5
yeah.
seconds, that's a mini stun.
Ah, yeah,
Right at
right.
the edge, but 2 seconds at max
2
level.
seconds is quite a
It's
stun, right?
absolutely ridiculous.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, in general, I don't think they have like these great defensive capabilities. Like, oh, I have a kinetic field, I have a glimpse. Even the Stampede is a strong defensive spell. So, this is, I think, the opening that EHOME.Keen has in this game, being able to initiate well without big repercussions, especially once the Storm Spirit does pick up a BKB. So I'm looking forward to them trying to initiate on these squishy heroes like the Crystal Maiden is a really easy kill. Technically, the Monkey King is also a really easy kill,
Yeah.
especially as the support or on the support position.
Especially in this game with this good mix of physical and magical damage here, just between the lifesteal and the storm. It's not even like you can just pick up a Ghost Scepter and be done with it. So it's like these supports might have an issue just staying alive at all when they show on the map with this high mobility coming through from Team EHOME. But now VGP looking to secure an extra rune, and they will actually get that uncontested. Fate giving the extra vision.
Quick side note: VP.G Potential has 4 Arcanas, has 4 heroes with Arcanas.
That is true.
And they all have them equipped as well.
By default, they have to win right now because EHOME they even don't have any Arcana heroes or Arcanas for that matter.
No, they don't. I think
Saw
this
that
is
the other
definitely a
day.
strategic advantage from VP.G Potential. Oh, they're looking for Fate. They're starting to cut these trees as well.
I love to see more like Enigma being picked up to just say fuck it. He's in this general area, take down all the trees with Midnight Pulse.
Maybe it's the only way to make Nature's Prophet legit again.
Yeah.
Actually, Monkey King is a pretty good counter to Nature's Prophet. Oh, they're gonna go.
Bit of a slow coming through. Follow slow from Io plus a spin. There should be the first blood right here, right now. And there it is. Io claims it for himself. Slow coming through on Fade. They want to get the revenge, and they will. 1-for-1 trade, but still in favor of VGP.
Oh, for sure. Was a bit of a mistake for Sand King to go away that openly. Like they had complete vision about of him leaving, and that's basically telling the opponents, "Hey guys, let's initiate."
Yep. So it's also a situation that you don't actually see the Crystal Maiden this often in, just going for the first point up in a Crystal Nova. It is a very potent spell, especially if you combine it up with that Tree Dance or whatever the heck it's called. That extra slow. Yeah. Primal Spring, that is.
Yeah.
It's very easy as a setup for the spin. Because normally just the Frostbite jungle farm is so efficient on CM.
Wait, is that a new ward? Look at the ward mid. Is that a new ward? Or am I just stupid? But that's a cute ward.
A really new ward. Yeah, that's the new DC chest ward.
Oh, alright. That's cute.
I believe it's a rare drop.
Anyway, what I wanted to say, look at the mid lane in the CS. 8 denies from the Storm Spirit.
Oh,
that
man.
is disgusting.
I'll take your tribute.
Shadow Fiend still has that issue with the early souls. If you don't have any help from supports early on, so try and zone out the enemy mid. Or if you don't have a Clockwork on your team, but meanwhile up top, I've seen there's a bit of trouble. He doesn't has Rage now, just pops it off to make sure it doesn't get spent down, but Nala was just waiting for that, instead using it for one of the supports, Sand King. Taking the spell instead.
And as we watched that kill, I guess we never really talked about, the whole VP.G potential for looking for this try-v-try situation. I'm pretty sure that if you're EHOME.K, you definitely wanted to avoid this scenario.
No.
This laning. Oh, did he cancel?
He canceled it so hard with the Boundless Strike.
Yeah, I think EHOME wanted to avoid this in any definitely. Like their tri-lane does not compare to VP.G Potential's tri-lane, so this is really strong from VP.G Potential. And even if they do lose on the Shadow Fiend in mid, I think it's definitely worth it for now.
Yep. Yeah, out of regen. Look at all the heroes. They have a couple of clarities, but no regen at all.
This is why you never want to lose a defensive tri-lane. I mean, obviously, you never want to lose a lane in general, but if you lose a defensive tri-lane, you basically lost the laning stage, because the way the map works right now, you don't have a shrine to go back to. If you lose an aggressive tri-lane, you can always fall back to the shrine, to regen up, or you just fall back and just rotate out. But what are you gonna do? I think the lifestealer might actually just TP bottom once he has regened up.
In the meantime, we might see the Monkey King die. Kinetic Field comes out, but another can just spin through it. Frostbite still gets in range.
Oh.
Yeah. You're absolutely right. That lane is lost completely. So what can they do on the other lane? Sand King now rotating mids, just sitting there for a while, looking for DXM to go maybe a little bit deep into the river. To come around for a Burrow Strike, but I don't even that is scary right now with potential TP rotations. A lot of souls at this point on Shadow Fiend, so if he starts to right click away a little bit, plus a Razor too, could easily turn around. Down bottom, yeah, you're talking about a Tide Hunter who's level 5 almost. He's pretty damn tanky right now with the purging off the slow from the Kraken Shell.
That was a bit unfortunate.
I said that
for
really
them.
badly, but you know what I mean, right? Kraken
Yeah, I
Shell
know what
purging
you
off the
mean. I know
slow.
what you mean.
He's not going to die.
Nope. But I do think it's the right decision to. I'm actually curious that they didn't do this before. I think they had to rotate this lane before, but they do now. They're going to probably move the Centaur back to the top lane, and I think, again, if even if VP.G potential moves their own tri lane to this bottom lane, I think it is much better for EHOME, just because of how the lane configuration works out for them. So, I think this is going to be much better for EHOME now, and they do again have the Stone Spirit advantage. I think the Sand King was maybe looking for a kill mid, but quite frankly, they can't really get a kill unless the Stone Spirit hits level 6. So I think that's just a waste of time. Certainly not with the ward mid. Like that ward protects SF pretty well.
You know
And
exactly.
SF has caught up pretty nicely. Look at the CS.
Yeah. 21-6 now, towards a 24 and 10. Of course, it gets much easier when you start to just out damage the Stone Spirit by like 30 or 40 at this point. Plus the Razors being a really good nuke for it. And then he also has the jungle to fall back on. I don't believe there are any stacks, of course, with the aggressive tri lane. No one really dared to do it. But what you can do with Shadow Fiend is just nuke down a wave mid, then go to the jungle, farm a camp, then go back. No fade coming through. Bit of a slow, and yeah, this should be that storm.
So good. That is so good. The slow from the Primal Spring is pretty strong. 40%. I'm pretty sure that's going to be nerfed, just because if you look at the trend that Valve has had in patch notes, the biggest roamers all had their their slows nerfed on level 1. Riki, Ogre, Bounty Hunter as well. All their slows on level 1 were way too strong. They were also at 40% at some point, and they're now at below 20, I think. And 40% slow at level 1 is just insane.
It's ridiculous, yeah. And slows generally, I want to say they're more useful in the early game than stuns are.
Oh, for sure. They're more
Frostbites
reliable as well,
in general,
because
though.
They usually last longer.
Yeah. Frostbite also very good. It's not a stun technically, it's a root, but it's still super effective in securing yet another kill. Well, these poor supports are just trying to soak some levels here, but it's not easy.
Oh, mid lane again.
No.
He was a creep away from level 6. If he had turned around and hit a creep, I'm pretty sure he could have zipped out. That was really unfortunate. But again, really good timing on the gank from the Monkey King as well.
He's getting a lot done. And with any roamer, Monkey King of course also falls into the category of like the Earthbirds, the Rikis. You need to get stuff like this done in the early game in the first 10 minutes, or else you just start to fall behind. But he comes so far 0-1 and 5. So.
And what I wanted to say earlier is that I actually love the fact that VP.G potential didn't rotate their tri lane out to the bottom lane or top lane.
Go for top, yeah. Dark throws out a stomp.
No
Stampede yet, yeah. He should still end up falling, though.
Kills.
It's one of the tankier heroes.
It feels kind of stupid that VP.G potential just needs Crystal Maiden, Frostbite, and then Juggernaut spin to get these kills.
Yeah.
But yeah, it works out. But yeah, I was trying to say, VP.G potential, they didn't rotate their tri lane to the bottom lane after EHOME.Keen rotated it out. That's usually a reaction that you see, but they just didn't do it because they realized the Tide Hunter is quite enough against the Lifestealer. Look at the Lifestealer. This is the second time he's walking back to base. He can't lane against Tide Hunter.
Yep.
So they're effectively winning all 3 lanes now.
It's not often that you see a Lifestealer not actually doing well in lane. Because he has a good amount of damage to throw out between the feast and just the early face boots. And the good base damage that he has, I believe he starts with like 60 damage or something like that.
Yeah, and the ironic thing is that most Chinese pick the Lifestealer because he does well in lane.
Yeah.
There are rarely any heroes that will be able to contest the Lifestealer in lane, and even in early, like, if Lifestealer versus Tide Hunter had played against each other from level 1, I even think then the Lifestealer could win that lane. So in that regard, I do think that this is definitely VP.G potential outsmarting EHOME.Keen. And look at this movement. I mean, the Seraphine, he's so aware of this game.
Yeah.
It is incredible.
Did not see smoke coming here, but he has a feeling in his guts, essentially.
I'll take your tribute.
Even this ward just being plopped down, I mean, it's another indication that EHOME.K are desperately trying to find something. Because this doesn't give a
top
whole lot
lane.
of vision. Top lane, not again. Another gets the kill, trying to TP out with a spin, should be enough, not enough physical damage to burst through that, but Ayo at the very least should be able to get that one with a glimpse back. Meanwhile, Fade is jumping around the trees.
That was really unfortunate. The Juggernaut was really low, but there was nobody hitting him. Not even the tower was hitting him. If he had tower aggro, that would have been huge.
He had like 50 health points left at the end, but it's...
Lifestealer just TPs to mid to defend the tower, and look at him, he's half HP
oh
again.
god. Yeah, this is not a fun game for him so far.
It really isn't. And
normally you see Lifestealers already having to start to their armlets, but right now he's very far away from that item. Now smoke rotation from Ayo and another. Infamous duo once again looking for a kill on Dark, and if he sticks around down here, he'll most certainly die. No stampede, it's on cooldown. Yeah. Goodbye,
VP Gaming's potentials movement is so much smoother than EHOME's. It feels like they're at least 1 or 2 steps ahead. And EHOME just doesn't have a way to respond. If you look at the vision they have around the map as well, VP Game potential have 2 aggressive wards in the enemy jungle. They planted these wards what, 6 minutes ago? So
5-6 minutes, yeah.
Yeah, this is ridiculous. And VP Game potential is just playing this really well. They know that they have the advantage, and they keep on just banking on it. And they even see this infest from the Lysol into the Storm Spirit, so they know that they're looking for a kill here on EHOME's side.
Can they get one though at this point? I mean, it's not a whole lot of mana on Storm Spirit to actually go very far. As long as they just keep well away from him on these supports. Not a whole lot of an opening here. Yeah, as a result you have the 3 top heroes in net worth all belonging to VG Gaming potential. One of them is a Shadow Fiend, who is a very scary hero to be in this position. Well, almost has a Dragonlance completed. And if you look at Tidehunter, Mechanism in the works, almost done as well. So is there any reason for VGP to stop this anytime soon?
Yeah, the thing is they're probably slowing down just because they're waiting for that mech, which I think is flying out now. And they also wanted to wait for the Dragonlance. I think they definitely need those items if they want to force these towers. Because even though EHOME is behind, just because by the nature of their lineup, they'll still be able to find kills. And even on the SF. So I think just waiting for these items and then grouping up as 5 and trying to take tower, I think that's the move for VG Game potential. And you can see that's literally what they're doing. Like as soon as Tidehunter goes mech, he starts moving mid.
Yeah.
Korra flies out mid to give the Dragonlance, and there is the Juggernaut.
Free kill with the Omni Slash, and then free trip back to safety with a glimpse.
Yep. And they didn't even need to use anything, really. I mean, the Omni Slash is obviously a big spell, but just because it already got a kill, it already paid off, so they can just keep going.
Yeah, it's on level 1. These kind of situations are the only situation where it's really useful. Until you get like level 2, level 3, you don't really want to use in teamfights anyway. Only with 3 slashes.
Oh. And EHOME.Keen, it looks like they want to respond to this, and I think this might just be enough to push VG Game potential back a little bit.
They
but
don't even have level 6 on Disruptor yet. There's no Epicenter on Sand King. Like, all they really have is a Stampede walking into the Stomp, maybe like some sort of Lifestealer bomb, but Lifestealer is trying to catch up elsewhere. He's showing up top.
And the moment he shows himself, VG Game know they can take this fight.
Okay, King Ultimate just
the
to zone
FPS
him out.
drops. Oh.
Yeah. Bit of a spectator issue for the first cast point there, but
really, this to me looks like EHOME.Keen was split on the decision making here, because both Centaur and Sand King TP'd in. Oh, top lane. No, don't do it, Lysler. Don't do it!
out, he's not raged! Almost dies to raises. Damn.
But yeah, it looks like they weren't sure what to do either, because 2 heroes TP to the tower, Lysler walks away. That just doesn't make any sense. If they had all abandoned the tower and farmed across the map, I heavily support that decision, because it basically means you make the best out of the worst scenario. But in that case, they just made it worse.
Well, right now I'm taking another tier 1 top. It's entitled to down bottom to just stand its ground. Meanwhile, EHOME, they're looking for kills.
This Crystal Maiden needs to die. She cannot be farming here by herself and nobody's doing anything against it.
Yeah, using Stampede, Zip in, everything they have just to secure the kill before any sort of counterplay can come out. Fade is in this general area. They could decide to TP in some heroes. Titan doesn't actually have it for 30 seconds.
It's on cooldown. They need to... Oh, no, never mind. They're not even taking the... Oh, he canceled TPs!
Looking to try and punish him, but it's kind of hard to catch him. He's jumping around. Now another, actually looking very threatening. Still has the Omni Slash available. Burst Strike available now for Sanking. Use it just at the right time. Nice dodge on that one. They're trying to stabilize at the very least, but they still have a long way to go. Especially if you look at the step where if the Storm Spirit, he cannot be this far behind.
And again, EHOME.Keen is not making the right moves across the map. I think their decision making is very much based on them feeling the pressure. The way they move around the map, like when they killed the Crystal Maiden, they so overcommitted for this.
Yeah.
Which is fine in itself because it's a secure kill, but they had vision over the other heroes. They should have known that nobody was there to punish them for that kill anyway.
It's one of these cases where they underestimate their own strengths, which they still have, right? Especially with the Stampede, but being behind means that you have to make more out of your advantages, that you cannot really afford to throw down a little bit more than you need to in these situations. As it stands, that Disruptor just... What is that about? Alright, just throws down a Static Storm to farm. And then dies. Like, okay.
Yeah. I think this is where you chat wheel, my bad.
Yeah. I immediately regret my decision. Well, now that's on cooldown, so the tier 2 bottom looks to be the next target for VGP. And I think we're
not even sure they can pressure it that well that early. And I think they should force a fight here, if you're EHOME.Keen, because they're not grouped up yet. And you see the TP to Tidehunter now. Yeah, you should definitely force a fight down here.
Yeah.
I like this idea.
Tidehunter mid, so you can go for something like that. Cancel the Stomp, so now the VGP is actually on the run as DXM turns it around, actually chasing Dark away. Io being kept alive. Now another makes an appearance with the Omni Slash. FPS drops. Bit of a CM ultimate in the middle of that will be cancelled by Storm Spirit, and that's the first kill they get, but they paid Lifestealer for it. EHOME.Keen on the run.
Yeah, it was... I do like the idea of engaging there. I definitely do, but it was just very sloppy. They missed the stun on the Centaur from the Centaur. They couldn't get the Monkey King because they don't have any way of killing the tree, even though the Lifestealer, I'm pretty sure, could have just cut down the tree. And then they couldn't even burst down the Crystal Maiden fast enough.
Yeah. Got a couple of seconds of this ultimate off before Stone's was able to cancel it, I believe.
And VP.G Gaming Potential won this fight without Ravage. They won this without Ravage. Yeah. They didn't even need the... They didn't really need the Juggernaut that early. I mean, he did come in the end, right? But they almost won the fight without him as well.
Yeah, that was a good trade without Ravage, without mech. Like, and this is a very scary prospect.
It is.
Especially now, because Ravage is still off cooldown.
Well, that's a nice stun.
Oh, yeah, nice stun. It just dies on 3 heroes, actually. It could be big, especially to bring Person and Juggernaut. He's not the Aegis holder. Ravage comes out here, turns around with a kill on Storm. Wrong should also end up dropping. There it is. DXM turning into the carry. Another Blink Stomp not being used. Here's Stampede. Not really doing too much if you're Frostbitten. And he will still take a spill. DXM force stuff away. Pops the ultimate here. Raged up by Lifesteal, so doesn't really care. But even if they get the skill, he'll come right back. It's a buyback and Storm to try and secure this. Is now another couple of ultimates being thrown out or held on to in the case of Fade. As DXM returns from the dead.
Two key things here. The initiation was great. It was really great. Really, really great. But he initiated when the Lifestealer was still top lane. He had no TP. and he had to walk down there. So by the time that he walked there, Stormspread was long dead. They couldn't find a kill. He tried to kill it. He looked at the Titan, thought to himself, nah, he's too tanky.
Yeah.
And then looked at the SF, ah, shit, he still has Aegis. So they overcommit for an Aegis and almost pay for it.
Oh,
nice
back
glimpse.
into Static Storm, into Storm if they need it, but the rest of VGP still there. But nice little Burst Strike from the Sand King, follow-up stun there now from Dark. They bring down one. It's gonna be Monkey King, but the XM still pretty scary here, fishing with the razors. Or Sand King in the trees. Still doesn't blink. Burst Strike here goes in again. The rest of his team in tow. They bring down the control. Can they bring down the damage? It is. Force back. And Lifestealer wants to finish the job with the slow and will be able to get it to one more right click that is from the Storm, who now is reduced to taxi service. But, well, taxi without an engine.
Very unfortunate for them. Also, I mean, this is something that we didn't even mention in the draft, but Crystal Main is one of the strongest counters to Storm Spirit now, just because Frostbite does, or any root mechanic does, prevent the lightning bolt, or the ball lightning, of course.
Yeah.
So in these fights, Storm Spirit finds great initiations, in my opinion. He always goes on the right target, but just because Crystal Maiden is there, he basically cannot be that active in those fights. And
he's
I
sort
know
of
he's going for a
disabled.
Bloodstone, but
Yeah,
I think he needs a BKB.
I feel like that's just a symptom of him being so far behind to compare to VG
Yeah.
Gaming is right now, because if he has like some sort of defensive item right now, be it a Linken's or BKB, even if he's just a little bit tankier, he can withstand this more. But as it stands, any sort of disable that he's subjected to right now just leads into a death.
I'm over here.
Because there's
Pretty
just this net worth differential is really showing in these fights. Because if DXM gets the right click, he gets a couple of raises off, Storm dies. If Juggernaut gets to man fight him, Storm dies.
And I think it would almost be okay for them to lose their Storm Spirit in every engagement, because he, like we pointed out, he does trade almost equally in a sense, where he at least enables a kill on another person usually. But it's not like the other heroes are getting something in return for it, right? It's not like, all right, I die and we get another kill, but at least, you know, the Lifestealer is getting fat. No, the Lifestealer is poorer than the Storm
It's even
Spirit.
poorer, yeah, exactly. Like these kind of trades you can do if, as you said, if the rest of your team is getting stuff out of it. But if you're doing these trades as the highest net worth on your team, that's a whole different story entirely. And now
Exactly.
Lifestealer, kind of alone mid, starting the TP now, nothing to go through it.
He started that TP very late.
Yeah.
If it had been maybe a second later, I think there's like an opening for Crystal Main to frostbite him and cancel the TP.
Absolutely. Item
Oh
slots.
no, they
and
see
hotkeys.
Disruptor.
Oh no.
No.
Well, it's been nice knowing him.
I guess he purchased drums at least.
Hey. I know drums has been buffed and it's actually a nice little support item, but I don't think it would be his item of choice if he had a choice this game. Know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
Especially
Oh
also
my
the
God.
Tranquil boots. Like, I don't think you go Tranquil boots on Disruptor unless you're 100% sure that you're not gonna get enough money to finish up the Arcane boots. Well, Dark too far forward. Once again, also Frostbite is super great against Stampede.
I will say though that in this game, I think the Trinket Boots are actually pretty good, just because you definitely want that extra movement speed and the armor as well.
Yeah.
But like, I definitely agree with you. This is definitely a sign of EHOME.Keen just having a miserable laning stage, or early game in general, and they just need to make up for that somehow with semi good items, I guess, like the medallion on Lifestealer. That's just a I have a bit of money to spare. Let's just make sure that this is efficient as possible.
Yeah, this is a poor man's Desolate if I've ever seen one. Just Omni slashing him down, Ravage just for good measure, Monkey King ult just to drop our FPS and make castle life impossible.
This is probably as good as it gets for EHOME.Keen, because the 2 big ultimates were expended already.
Look at the bashes that are coming through.
All the glimpse.
Oh, glimpse on Fade, looking to try and punish him. Rage comes through to dodge some of the damage. Static Storm to zone him off, so they do get that kill. Dark misses Stomp though. Nice little burst strike, epicenter. Going for some damage, but Mechanism comes out and doing all of it. And it's VGP just throwing the net worth at EHOME.K, and that's 2 diebacks, I believe.
2 diebacks.
And
Yeah,
Tower
I
still
think
goes down. Nicely
nice triple
stomped,
stun.
but they don't have the damage to really follow it up. Storm's but out of mana. And gonna be out of life soon if he sticks around for too long, if he's too threatening. VGP focusing
Yeah,
on the rack instead
frostbitten.
of going for the
That's
kill, but yeah,
that's
frostbite,
GG, I think.
couple of right clicks, no buyback, but he's gonna be back in 10 seconds. But
GG.
what do you do? GG, yeah, you have nothing to
GG.
throw at this lineup.
If
Even
you lose the laning stage that hard, there's no coming back
Yeah.
from this, I think.
Oh man, what a game.
Certainly not with the lineup that they had. EHOME.Keen's lineup, they needed to snowball in order to win this game in the first place.
This is
Like
not
if you play out this draft perfectly, even then you probably need to snowball a little bit to make sure that you come back, to make sure that you win the late game, because VP.G game potential to have really good high ground defense, but that was just a bad lightning stage, a really bad one.
Oh yeah, and this is not a lineup, as I said, that can really play from behind effectively. With Storm, with Lifestealer, they're very uncomfortable in these situations. Even the supports also only really work if you're at least even. But yeah, that was not a given. For a counter strat, definitely working in the VG Gaming Potential's favor. We'll see whether they can repeat that success in game number 2, as this is a best of 2 series, so there's still a chance for EHOME.Keen to snag up a point. Find out soon. In the meantime, a little bit of music, so don't go too far away.